started, you want to work one section at a time. For a chevron point, you should have 2 sections with an equal number of threads in each section. So I'm going to start with the left hand section. Starting with the first thread on the left, you want to work over the rest of the threads in this section. So I'm going to be doing all forward knots for this, but you might want to change your knots depending on the pattern that you've used for the rest of your bracelet. Once you've knotted with this thread, you want to put this one out of the way, and taking the thread that is now at the leftmost position, you want to knot over the rest of your threads again, except this time you don't want to knot over this thread. And again, once you've knotted with this thread, you can put it out of the way with the other thread. And you want to keep repeating these steps until you're down to your last thread. So each time you're picking up a new thread, you won't be doing knots over these 2 threads or any that have joined them afterwards. So for your next row after this one, you won't be knotting over the orange and the yellow, etc. So once you've knotted all the threads in this section, you want to do a mirror image for the section on the right. So I'll be doing backward knots, but again, you might want to alter the knots you're doing depending on the pattern that you use for the rest of your bracelet. So just do the exact same thing with your working of your threads, but this time working from the right to the centre until you're down to just 1 thread. So once you've done both sides, you should have something that looks like this. So if you just split these sections here, you can see how it started to run diagonal like that side instead. So again, you want to work in your 2 sections, but to get started, you want to take your 2 threads in the centre and you can knot these together. You can knot in any direction you want. I'm just doing a forward knot. So then, like you did before, you're going to work in your 2 sections. To get started, I'm going to take the 2 threads on the right hand side of the left section, and taking the one on the left, I'm going to do a forward knot. So next I want to keep these 2 threads in my hand, and I want to take the next thread in the sequence and again do a forward knot, but this time over both the threads. And then again, keeping these 3 threads, I want to take the next thread in the sequence and do another forward knot over these threads. And I want to continue doing this all the way down until I'm down to the last thread. So each time I'm taking the next colour and I want to work a forward knot over all the threads. And then once I've done that side, I want to do a mirror image at the other side. So this time, taking the 2 threads from the centre, I want to take the one on the right hand side and I want to do a backward knot. And then keeping those 2 threads, taking the next thread and again backward knot over both those 2 threads. And as you did with that section, just keep repeating this until you're down to your last thread. So once you've done both sides, you can just finish by doing a braided tie-on end for each section. So just want to separate your threads into 2 equal sections, or as close as you can get. So for mine I've got 3 in one section, 2 in the other and 3 in the other one, but just separate them as equally as you can and then just do a 3-stranded braid. And once you've got your braided tie on, as long as you want it, you can tie a knot in the end of all your threads just to keep them in place. And then you want to do exactly the same thing with the other side. And when you've finished, it should end up looking something like this.